Hey, what's up, party people? Today I gotta process some vocals. I got a new Chelsey and the Noise song called Armageddon. I've got some new vocals from the one and only Chelsey. She recorded these remotely up in Oregon. I followed her down here using some cool, using some Zoom screen share and also Audio Movers Listen to kind of help her track her vocals and get the right takes. And now we gotta process the vocals. So today I'm gonna kind of take you through my workflow of using all the plugins that I use. At the same time, I will be giving you guys just some feedback on how to do it directly in Ableton if you want. But the moral goal, or the major goal today, is to try to just show you guys a basic chain. And I learned something recently that kind of really helped me process vocals. My mentor explained to me that vocals shouldn't be that hard. They really shouldn't. People get really dialed into vocals because they're sometimes the main thing on the track. But if you've got a really good vocal take, the processing should be relatively easy. To process some good vocals, all you really need: EQ, compression, saturation, and probably just some more space effects like reverb or delay. So today we're going to do a pretty basic processing and then kind of fine tune things and dial in to get the vibe for the song we want. So let's dive right in. Okay, so this is the song Armageddon. Here's a little preview of the beginning here. Some cool heavy guitars. Turn this up a little bit. And then we're gonna get right into the vocals right here. So they're pretty quiet right off the bat. I want to make sure I can hear them a little bit more. So to do that, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn my volume up and turn the track down back to where it was. And then maybe I will turn these guys up a little bit. I'm gonna group them real quick. So before we get started, let's go ahead and talk about the project. So these are the raw vocals up here. These are all the vocals that I got directly from working with Chelsey for the main track, the main take. And you can see they're all over the place in terms of gain. That's because sometimes people sing louder or quieter, and I wasn't there necessarily to ride the gain and follow her as she was recording because we did this remotely. So you can see some parts are louder than others, specifically like looking at this part compared to this part over here. And now that can usually be a problem, but as long as you look at the waveforms and make sure they're not too clipped, which we can see here, we've got a little bit of clipping there because you can see the square part of it there. But they sounded fine. So even though we clipped a little bit, probably a little bit of clipping there too, even though we clipped a little bit, it ended up being okay. So this is what I call the OG vocal track. Now what I did here to make the overall vocal just basically sound a little bit more, not necessarily compressed, same kind of idea, but to make the whole vocal kind of gel together a little bit, and to make sure the peaks weren't as high and the lows weren't as low, is I use this cool plugin that I actually have had for years but never used. It's called Vocal Writer. What Vocal Writer does is it basically is as if there is a person on the console moving a fader up and down for you, basically emulating somebody right there on the track, constantly moving things up and down. So I don't have to adjust the gain on each individual piece. Instead, all I need to do is put Vocal Writer on there and it'll do it for me. And you can see here I've set some ranges. So let's go ahead and see what it's doing here. So I'll go ahead and just solo this part and you watch what happens. So for that part, it's reducing anywhere from -3 to -9. And you can see we have a target we set up here to be about -19. You can see up here, it's actually kind of pushing up or just at 0. So it's pretty smart in the sense where it knows what to drop down and what to increase, which is pretty cool. So what I did there is I put that on the track, made sure it was in a level that I liked, and then I exported it, or I duplicated the track and freeze and flattened, just like so. I freeze it and then flatten the track. And what you can see here is I have a new track called Written Vocals. Now this obviously means the vocals have been written by Vocal Writer. I just call them that for fun. And you can see now we have a stereo waveform that is much easier to work with. Everything is kind of, it's a little small, but that's fine because we're going to make it up in the metering here anyways, or in the fader up here anyways. And it's going to be a lot easier to work with. So what I did next is I added some Melodyne. So I didn't do all this on this video. Maybe I'll do that in a future video. But what I did here is I used Melodyne to make sure everything was in tune. So nothing too crazy here. We actually like to keep her vocals pretty raw. It just kind of to pull out anything that doesn't really make any sense or anything that kind of is jarring or jumps out at you. One cool little note here is, I'm gonna go ahead and solo this real quick. For the beginning of the chorus, which I think is right here. Yeah, so you can see da 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 da. She just goes back and forth between, looks like the A and the G, and this key is in C major. So it's just really cool to see boom 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 boom. And she did that pretty good. I didn't have to move those things around that much. So let's just hear this part real quick and watch it. Super cool, right? So that's that. And then obviously right here, I just threw on a compressor for now, but I'm actually gonna delete this because we're gonna start from scratch. All right, so now we've got Melodyne down, we've got a vocal writer down. What's next, right? So the first thing I like to do is I'm gonna grab my Fabfilter Pro-Q, and I use this mainly to filter out some lows right at the beginning. So I basically want any of the gunk, and usually that's around on vocals like 100. It will help you get a kind of a good starting point. So let's just hear this real quick. So he can hear not a difference. Here it is with it. Without, there's no difference. And so what we're doing here is we're taking rid of any of this like sub region or lower mid region here. Just make sure it's nice and clean. And we can visually see now, if I can move this guy, how do I can't move it. Let me make another one here so it'll move. Now what we can see here is we actually probably have some more room we can go up. So let's go ahead. So that's pretty good for now. That's pretty high with 300. I'm gonna back off just a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll make sure that as we're here listening to the track, we don't have anything else that's gonna dip lower for any of the parts that could be a problem. So that's fine for now. The next thing we could do would probably be just to use our ears and say, hey, is the vocal bright or is it dark? Meaning, does it have a lot of high end frequencies or like the mid or low mid frequencies are higher? So let's just go here and listen to it for a little bit.
What forever means, please describe eternity. Promises you cannot keep. Fingers crossed, body heavy, I'm not. So
I'm hearing just a little bright. I'm just gonna take this down. Actually, I'm gonna change this to a shelf, a high shelf right here. And I'm just gonna take this down just a little bit, just a touch. I think we're in between like -1.5. Yeah, very subtle, but it just kind of give a little bit of that crisp out that I think we'll be putting back with other plugins later. Like compression will probably bring that out a lot more, and we'll see if we need that later. So this is a great starting point for now. Again, this is more of a utilitarian type of thing versus going in and changing the way the vocals sound yet. All right, so that's our first step. Our next step, so I like to do one of two things. Pro-C is an outstanding compressor in general. Like if you want just a good compressor with some great fixed ratios, Pro-C is great. But I'm actually going to try to use my 1176 from Universal Audio. And I think I'm going to get the Rev A here. I think that's the blue one, right? Yeah. So this is what this plugin's going to do for us is I just want it to catch any of the big guys, almost like a limiter with a fast attack. Now on this guy, the attack is always going to, I have to look at my 1176 I have next to me to remember the attack is all up here is all as fast. This is slow. So if you have a 7, it's as fast as possible. So as fast as possible. So we're going to have a pretty fast attack and a pretty fast release because we just want it to catch transients, right? Anything where it's a big explosiveness type of thing. And Vocal Writer already probably did that a lot for us. So this is probably going to get us maybe -1, -2 dBs of a compression. Very small amount of compression because we're just trying to catch peaks right now. We're not trying to level the compressor and really get in your face quite yet. So this is option 2. Option 1 would just be to Pro-C and do something similar with 2 Pro-Cs. Option 3, of course, is just doing this basically in Ableton with Ableton plugins. Ableton compressor and do very similar effects here. So I'm just going to dial up the input here until I see a little bit of compression. Oh. So we definitely still have some explosiveness I wasn't expecting. So we're gonna take that down a little bit more.
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for armor.
Let's get a little bit of faster release and even faster attack here.
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for Armageddon. Do your D-Say, get the...
Let's try going to the ratio of 4. So ratio, right, how much compression are we getting?
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon.
That's not really changing much. So we're gonna keep it on 8. We're gonna try to get attack a little bit faster and the release a little faster. See what happens.
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for
Yeah.
Armageddon. Do it.
So realistically, that's a little. Some of those that's a little more compression than I wanted, but you can see now it's moving really fast, right? So it's catching those transients, moving it really quick, and then coming back. And that's what we want. We want it to just grab those peaks really quick for us, and then to back the heck off. Back off 1176, right? Cool. Okay, that sounds pretty good. The next thing I want is going to be the, I think it's LA-2A. Is that what it's called? Let me just search 2A. Sometimes I forget what these are called. Yes, UAD Electronics LA-2A. And there's a couple different options here. I'm going to try the gray. I think the gray is one of my favorites. Actually, that's the wrong color. I want the silver. The gray, yeah, I want this one. I thought this was gray. Let's actually look at the Legacy too. You know what? Nope, Legacy is the color I want. Sometimes I'm more color. I can recognize color more than anything else. So from what I recall, I like this one because it's probably the closest to the original. And also it just, I don't know, it's one I've always used, so I like it. I don't think the gray or silver is going to matter that much in the long term, but they probably just have a slightly different feel and tonality. Same thing with all the different 11 to 76s. Again, you could do all this with Pro-C. You could do all this with Ableton. Ableton's going to be a little different because you're going to have to change the compressor to be more like a 2A, but Pro-C's got that vocal ratio, which you could do the same thing with. Anyways, let's go ahead and play it back. And let's go ahead and get some more compression here.
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for armor.
So that's loud. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I messed up. We got this. So I was actually adjusting the gain, increasing the gain. We want to adjust the peak reduction. And I like with this guy to go between -3 and -5. Cool. All right, let's just A-B it real quick. So we can hear we're a little quieter. Let's turn up the gain here, like I mistakenly did the first time.
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for Armageddon. Do your D-Say, get the...
Yeah, so that's about right. So now let's watch what happens when I turn off the 1176. This guy that's doing the fast compression. I'm gonna turn this guy off.
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for armor.
Oh, well, this guy's probably pumping up the volume a little bit too. Well, let's check out the volume on this guy.
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for Armageddon.
Right, so what I just did there is made sure that we're gain matching. So if I turn something on, we're not just hearing an increase. So now, if I go like this...
Do your D-Say, get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for armor.
Oh, I need more reduction now. I'm trying to hit -3, -5. That's what I'm trying to hit with this guy. Nice, let's check the gain again. Got a little bit increase there. Awesome. Cool, now if I turn off the 1176, we should be getting a slightly more compression on certain parts. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So that's not exactly showing you what I wanted to show you, but that's okay. So taking a step back here, I covered a lot of things and I kind of made some mistakes as I went. So I want to make sure I'm being clear on this tutorial here. The 1176 is catching high peaks. Okay, that's the main goal. And we can see it's catching because it's bouncing right back. We just want it to catch things and then to come right back. The 2A is doing the leveling. That's the one that's actually going to bring the vocal forward. Now, what I did as a mistake at the beginning is I increased the gain instead of the peak reduction, but I actually wanted to increase the peak reduction first and then gain to match. And I turned them off and on to make sure that what they were doing wasn't increasing the gain significantly. So we can actually match what they're doing. Okay, cool. So let's just do a recap here of what we've done here so far. I'm going to group all these together and then I'm going to turn them off and on. So here's them off.
get to heaven, I'ma wait.
Here's them on.
Do your D say get to heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for Arma.
Cool. So you hear it a lot after she says the S consonants.
Do your D say get to heaven, I'ma wait for
Listen to I'm away for Armageddon. Here, I'll go right here.
I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for Armageddon,
Right, so it's much more compressed, a little more in your face.
I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for
It's subtle, but it sounds pretty cool. The next thing we're going to do is probably a little bit of de-essing, right? Because in general, we can hear at the very beginning here,
Do your D say get the
that S
Do your D say get
has a little bit of stuff to less be desired. Has some stuff in there to be desired here. So I'm going to grab my Pro-DS from Fabfilter. This is one of my favorites. And for this guy, I'm just going to use it visually here first.
get to heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for Armageddon. Do your D say get to heaven, I'ma wait for Do your D say get 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 the
All right, let's go and turn the vocal up a little bit.
Do your D say get the Do your D say get Do your D say get Do your D say get
Yeah, so actually, that's pretty good at the stock level right there.
Do your D say get the Do your D say get
You can see it's dropping down 2.5 whenever it hears the S-ing, and the S's weren't that
Do
bad.
your D say get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon, I'ma wait for
So, I'm cool with
Do
that.
your D say get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon.
Let's double check that messy part right there.
Do your D say get the heaven, I'ma wait for
Yeah, so I'm pretty cool with that. All right, so we've done all those steps. We got the de-essing done. So EQ, compression, de-essing, right? Which is technically a form of compression. So like I said earlier about all these things applying still makes sense, right? It's a form of compression. I also mentioned saturation. So let's grab out our good old friend Saturn here. This is Fabfilter Saturn. Let's go and turn this bad boy up. Oh, let's solo the vocal here.
Do your D say get the heaven.
So right off the bat, it brings that to 20%. I usually like to use warm tape or warm tube are my two favorites. Let's go ahead and check it out.
Get the heaven, I'ma wait for Armageddon. I mean, army, come and get it. Hold it down till Armageddon. What do I know? What do then do your D say then do your D say get then do your D say get
Really warms it up. Let's take a little more band.
do your D say get the heaven. I'ma wait for Armageddon. I mean, army, come and get it. Hold it down till Armageddon. What do I know? What do
I really like what it's doing for this part.
I know?
Right, and so what we can explore here is we could make a breakpoint at the top here and see if we want to have some tones be less than others.
I know. What do I?
So I'm just kind of use this like a filter. If anything was coming up between 140 hertz, I'm just kind of reducing it a little bit, maybe a little higher.
Do I know? What do I know? What do I know? I don't know. Do you?
Yeah, so I think that sounds really good actually. So here's before,
Do I know?
here's after.
Do I know? What?
So again, these are all subtle things, but that was a pretty good vocal take we have, and they're just kind of bringing out more of the actually Chelsey's voice in these vocals, which is pretty cool. Okay, so we've got our saturation, we've got our EQ, we've got our compression. Up next would be like a reverb. Now, for this track, I think I'm going to use Valhalla Vintage Verb. I like this one a lot on Chelsey's vocals, especially when I want to do some like interesting reverbs. If I was doing something more like true to the book of like a typical vocal take, I'd probably use some sort of, oh my gosh, what is it called? What is it called? I think it's called Little Plate? Is that what it's called? Yes, Little Plate from Sound Toys. It just got a nice really sound plate to it. But this is nice because I can go in here and I can grab plates and you can see there's a vocal plate right here. I'm just gonna see what else there might be that looks kind of cool. There's ambiences, which always sound good. But those are more like a live Vox chamber. Let's try that actually.
Do I know? What do I know? What do I know?
So that's kind of cool. I'm just gonna duplicate this real quick, turn this off, and then change this one to what I was originally gonna go for, which is the vocal plate.
Do I know? What do I know? What
Yeah, a little more decay.
Do I know what? Do I know what? Do I know? I don't know. Do you?
Let's just listen to the two of them. So here's the first one we liked.
Do I know what? Do I know what? Do I know? I don't know.
Do it kind of similar decay here.
Do I know what? Do I know what? Do I?
Now I'm just reducing it until I hear less of that kind of, just try to reduce this till I hear less of the echoes or the, you know, the reverber, the tail of the reverberation here.
Do I know what? Do I know what? Do I know?
All right, so the other one has some pre-delay. Let's just put some pre-delay to see if it sounds
Do
good.
I know what? Do I know what? Do I know? I don't know. Do you?
That sounds pretty good right there. So let's go ahead and check between the two. So pre-delay is doing, it's allowing more of the vocal to get through before the reverb. Let's check the AV through the two.
Do I know what? Do I know? Do I know what? Do
Oh yeah, I definitely like the vocal chamber more. And this is more of something for this track, right? Some other tracks I wouldn't like it. So let's recap here what we did here because I went kind of fast. And we picked a preset, right? The live aux chamber. We turned the decay down to get something we like. We let use our ears to hear how long of that tail that reverberation had. And then we adjusted the mix to get a little bit less or more of it. We could pump the mix more on this one because we have less decay. Oop, let me undo that. And also we increased the pre-delay, which literally sets the amount of delay before reverb. So how long until the reverb kicks in from when you hear the original vocal, okay? So now let's just go ahead and do a quick check here.
I
Oh, that's an intense part. Let's listen here. So I know this is quiet and that's okay. Again, this is not even the mix. Like as you can see, this is just a take here that we have in here. And I'm okay with these being, you know, this being louder or quieter or whatnot. I'm actually gonna just turn the sound and try to get this to a workable level here. And I mean, we're just gonna grab a utility and just turn it up. Nothing wrong with using a utility just to get some volume.
Do your deeds to get to heaven? I'ma wait for Armageddon. I'ma wait for Armageddon. Do your deeds to get to heaven? I'ma wait for Armageddon.
That's better. So everything was just kind of quiet, but now we got it pumped up, and we use the utility, increased it by about 6 dB. I'm just gonna throw this on here. We might take that off when we put it in the whole track, but for now, we got it there. Okay, so this is sounding pretty good. I really like it. Now, the next thing we do, you can put some delay on this if you want. I'm not going to yet. Usually I like to put delay until I'm actually doing the final mixes. What you can look at now is your left and right track. So what here is we do a trick that a band called A Day to Remember does all the time where they make 3 vocals, one center, one left, and one right. We do it less aggressively by significantly turning down the left and right. Let's go ahead and put both the left and right to like -8 and -8. And now what we've already done, you can see their stereo vocals here because we process them using Vocaline. And we also have the vocal writer on each of these two just to kind of level things out. We use Vocaline basically matching the pitch and the timing to the main vocal here. So let's go ahead and check this out. So the kind of a pretty cool chorus effect. Let's go ahead and turn these guys up a little bit. Back down a little bit. Cool. Now for these, what we're going to do is these are going to be a lot simpler. We're just going to grab Pro C for these guys on the vocal effect because we just want these to be smashed. Vocal, let's get the left here. So you're only going to hear this on the left side right now. 11's pretty good, a little fast of attack. I'm okay with that. Let's grab our EQ8 from Ableton real quick. And then we're just going to reduce to about there. We're going to group these guys. So as you can tell, these are just kind of for an effect. So I'm just going to build a chain on here and then duplicate it on the right one. These are kind of the main things I do, to be honest with you. And then we might put like a little bit of reverb on the tail here, or on the entire group. But the last thing I want to do is I'm going to grab this de-esser and I'm going to really de-ess the heck out of these. Now, the reason why I do that is because when S's come through, they can be loud. And I do not want them at all on these tracks because I want the S's to only come through on the main vocal. Yeah, so it's almost making the S disappear, which I like. That's kind of cool. All right, so that's just one. Let's go and just copy and paste this onto here. So you can hear there's a little bit of one's a little late. Yeah, it looks like. Let's see which one. So that one's right on. This one needs to be a little worked here. So all we need to do is just go into here. And we're just going to move this S over just like that. And maybe the get too. So you can see when I move this, it kind of moved everything else to the right, but I'm okay with that because it kind of sounds pretty good with it, see? That actually is exactly what it needed, so I'm happy with that. Of course, we use the vocal line plugin, which I can go over in another video, but the main part here was just to make everything kind of move a little bit. Yeah, these vocals sound badass. I like that a lot. Now we're gonna put all of them in the same vintage verb. Maybe that'll make them all sound a little bit more. And that's it. So yeah, this is great for now. I might go more Saturn. I might more on the Saturn distortion. I might go with a heavier compression. But this is basically everything. So that was pretty easy. Again, once we actually get the mixing, things might change here and there. But this is a great start to doing some vocal processing. So I hope you guys like this. Leave a comment down below if it helped with anything, or if you have any questions, please give me a subscribe if you did like it. I'm doing a lot more Chelsey noise types of tutorials here, but yeah, that's it. Thanks everybody. Peace.